We just watched season 3, episode 2 of Gilmore Girls. I can't believe we're already now. We're now just started season 3. We're into season
We're
3.
into season
We're like
3. This is
in
it.
it.
Yeah.
Wow. Now it feels like it's going too fast. But we have thoughts about this. I, on my 1,257,552nd watch, and your
I'm on my very first watch and I'm being kept spoiler free. And I have never seen the Gilmore Girls. And so far I've seen 2 seasons of the show that I had never seen before. And I
yes.
also have thoughts.
Yes. And hi, my name is Chemda.
I'm Carrie.
Welcome, new Gilmore friends. They have been telling us they found us. Oh, so I guess, this is fine. We're finding our Gilmore friends through this recap
Yay.
situation. Yeah, yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, so the first thing we want to do is get the alternative titles. What would we have named it?
So as a
Before
reminder,
Carrie
I'm not
even
allowed to
knows.
see the titles before the episodes because occasionally they contain spoilers. So I don't know the name of the episode at all. I would have called this one Hemline ?
Okay. You would have called it with the question mark.
Yes.
Okay. Why are you focused on that
It's
one?
the dumbest part of the episode.
Oh, okay. All right. That's cool. I have like father, like daughter.
Oh.
And I also have Freaky Friday. And I think the Freaky Friday one is more fitting because they reference the movie in the episode. Chris and Rory have this like weird similarity. And this also happened on Friday, like the freaky stuff.
Oh, okay.
That
Interesting. Yeah, the
yeah.
parallels. All
Yeah.
right.
So
Yeah.
Freaky Friday.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You
it's
might get sued for that. I'm sure like somebody owns Freaky Friday. I don't know. I don't know. Is this Freaky Friday copywritten? I don't know. Trademark?
No, because isn't the title from like already people using Freaky Friday?
I don't know.
Or
If it's
I
in the
thought this is like what came first, the movie or the title?
Yeah.
I thought the
I
title
don't know. We got to
existed.
look that up. Somebody look that up. You know who the best people are in the world, and that's our subscribers. If you are listening to this or watching it, there is a subscribe button in front of you, and you should hit it. If you are already subscribed, a way to help us out is to comment on basically anything. I'm not allowed to read comments because people put spoilers in them, but Chemda certainly loves them and forwards me the nice ones about me. So feel free to comment if you're already subscribed. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. What is the actual title of this episode?
You're not going to believe it. I Haunted Leg.
Haunted Leg?
Yes. It feels like I'm pulling yours, but that is actually
Haunted Leg?
the title. Yes. Do you even know where Haunted Leg fits into what you just saw?
Do you?
Yes. It's a moment, and I think you happen to miss the moment.
Oh my God.
Because it was that much of a moment. And it was because now we're having you not even look at the credits. So Carrie has to hide the bottom of her screen while we're watching because the credits continue after the theme song. So I was telling you when it's okay to drop your hand, and it happened to be when Lorelai said she's sick, but with a boring thing like the cold. Why can't she have something like haunted leg syndrome or something like that?
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I did miss a little of that banter. That's weird.
But that's it.
Do Gilmore friends say haunted legs to each other?
I have never, when I saw this title, I was also surprised. This is also the first time I'm seeing the titles. And so Haunted Leg, I never heard it. I don't even think I ever heard her saying Haunted Leg. I think I missed that banter. Sometimes I didn't hone in on oh, they're being sarcastic, they're making up this stuff. I didn't always love that banter. So I think I just ignored it.
How do Gilmore people refer to this episode? Are they like the one where?
Well, no, once I started, Googling, information and whatever, Haunted Leg was coming up everywhere. So yes, I think other people are paying attention to the title, but I'm not.
Mm.
So I never thought And
I mean, I
and
will
then
say A Haunted Lake is a title that has no spoilers in it. That could literally
yeah.
be about anything. I mean, I would have
Yeah.
been like, "Oh, were they in the woods and they found a leg? Okay."
They chose literally one line that had not they it's not even like they brought up that she's sick. She didn't really get sicker, like, it was
Yeah, that
just
was weird. Can
she
we
sneezed twice.
Yeah, so let's start the episode. We start off
Yeah.
at the grandparents' house for seemingly no reason. It's awkward. Emily is still mad. Um, and Lorelai is reading the newspaper and says Shauna Christie shot her husband, and we
Mhm.
find out that she shot him 35 times. And the whole setup is just so that Emily can say the line, "At least she had a husband." And
Yes.
then that's the
Not just at least she had a husband, at least she had a husband to kill. This is a big line in the Gilmore Friends
okay.
community. This gets repeated, it's on T-shirts, the whole thing.
At least she had a
And
husband to kill.
yeah, so when you missed the haunted leg line, I was like, "Who cares?" She got the husband to kill line,
I wrote
and
that down. Yeah.
that's what we needed from this episode. We needed you to hear
I
that.
mean, I also have no husband to kill. It's a terrible, terrible cold world I live in.
Disgusting,
Yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah. I'm just out here murderless. It's great.
Now, if I may get way too psychologically involved in this family, Rory's sitting there and trying to get her mother and her grandmother to make nice by like, "Hey, isn't it nice? Eh, hey, you like lamb shank? Don't you?" It just the amount that we learned about this niceness versus people pleasing and toxicity has come so far that this is that these scenes now turn into like I'm cringing because I've been in that position and it was my pleasure to accommodate everybody and I felt like I got soul points for making things right between people. And
Yeah.
sometimes I wonder if I ever wanted to be a therapist and have this much interest in how everybody's brain works, including mine, if I wasn't raised to believe that that is how satisfaction happens.
Right. That you're
I
the
have no idea.
peacemaker, that like everything was in flux and then you came in and settled down everybody.
That understanding people's face changes or responses to things, being patient, empathetic, all of that stuff. Was that in do I love all of everything that has to do with, psychologically, even this conversation about how much I got and empathized with every single position. Is that me or was this training?
This was training that like you have
Why are
to
you so confident in that? Like, I love it. Good. Explain why you're confident. Maybe it'll rub off on me and I'll believe you.
well,
Because I don't
training
know.
from this era of like, uh-oh, there's a conflict, I better fix it.
Oh, okay. So being like my age at my time with the background that
Yeah,
was
and
our
like I
social
don't think
norm.
Rory doesn't like conflict, you know. I mean, nobody
Right.
likes conflict. Some people do, I guess. But I think
Some
Rory's
people are more
conflict
are
avoidant.
yeah, some people are okay with it. They don't need to make it right. Like let it play out.
Right. But I
Yeah.
think Rory wants to make it right or at least make it
Mhm.
feel not so icky in that room. And
Mhm.
like Lorelai and her mother are used to ickiness and like, yeah. So she just is like, hey, so but it's painfully awkward. It's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then the show begins, credits, and we open on Lorelai at Luke's and she is sick.
Yeah.
It's funny when a character is sick in a show because usually it's a major plot point.
Yeah, it is,
And it
isn't
never
it?
came back up again.
They're usually sick for the whole episode
Yes.
unless like part of the ending of it is I finally got better or whatever, but it usually is.
Yeah. Or it's like the episode we find out they have some horrible incurable disease, you know, and it starts off with a cold and they're like, oh, I just can't shake this cold. And by the end of the episode, they have like brain cancer.
Right, but it's significant in some
Yeah.
way.
This was not a plot point. This is just like
I
a
know.
fact of life that sometimes you're sick. It was really weird. I kind of loved
I
it.
I wonder if it's for Kirk's line of like, she has 2 weeks to respond to him because he heard she was sick. Is
Right.
it just for that?
Maybe. It might be.
Because I kind of understand that. It was funny.
Yeah.
I like Kirk in this
Yeah.
episode.
Poor Kirk. Oh my God. So Sean Gunn, uh, it's been a while. Like, I'm not impressed from noticing him anymore. He's a named character.
Yeah. He's
And
in the opening credits now.
he's like, um, oh, but first, before we leave, before we get to Kirk,
Hmm.
we finally see the blonde chick walk in to pick up Jess, and they exchange grunts at each other and then leave. And we find out later her name is Shane.
Yeah, but I mean, before Shane comes in, Rory keeps looking at Jess, and he's just scrubbing or reading. He's not paying attention to her, but she's like, "Hmm." Then the girl walks in, and she's pissed.
Yeah.
Rory's pissed.
Yeah. And she doesn't have a good reason to be pissed as we explode later in the episode. But I clocked
Yes.
her coming in because she's wearing bright pink and bouncing. So I was like, "Who is that? Who's the bright pink bouncy person coming in?" And of course, it's this new lady, Jess's new lady.
And their relationship makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
Let's go make out by a tree. Who cares?
yeah, it's
Uh,
fine. We're teenagers.
What if I don't marry you? Why am I even thinking of
At
that?
least you have a husband to shoot.
That's what we should have titled this
Yeah,
episode.
totally.
A
But
husband to shoot.
a husband to shoot. That's all you need.
Uh,
Yeah, but that was weird. And so we find out that like Rory's not over it, you know, and
but then Dean walks in with his full sentences and she's like, "You see, I did pick right." And I'm like, "Ooh, you sound less and less convincing,
yeah, I
Rory."
know. I know.
Loud
And
and
Dean
just
doesn't say, "What the hell are you talking about?" He just goes, "Okay, doop de doop." Like Dean is such a prop. Like he's not asking the natural next question because they'll be like, "It's a mother-daughter thing." And he'll be like, "Okay."
how many mother-daughter things before you stop asking questions,
I
right?
guess, yeah, that's true. He's
Yeah,
like,
like
"Uh-oh, Lorelai's here." So that means nothing Rory says is gonna make any sense for like a few minutes.
right.
'Cause
They're gonna
every
finish their yes, they speak a
Yeah,
specific
they're gonna have their
language.
little inside joke talk for, like, another, like, 40 seconds, and then I can have my girlfriend back.
Right. It's like, dating a person whose parent speaks a different language. They'll throw that language
Yeah,
in, like,
that's
just
exactly,
because.
exactly what it's
Yeah.
like, and you'd be like, "Alright, bye,
Mhm.
mom."
Yeah, except this is obnoxious.
Yeah, it's totally obnoxious. Um, but I think we find out that this is, Rory's, inauguration day, like, she's gonna be inaugurated as vice president
Yes.
later in the day, and that Lorelai is gonna come to that. Um
But
oh, we don't
Lorelai
find
gets
that out
asked
yet.
out. No, Lorelai gets asked out by Kirk.
Kirk.
Did you see it
I did
coming?
not see it coming. He comes in, here's a box, these are the photos from the wedding. I need to ask you something. Can you sit down? Now, the last time Kirk was in the inn, it was to sell his hay there. Was that last episode?
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Kirk has been in the inn before. He's asked Lorelai crazy stuff before. I did
Right.
not see it coming. I thought he was going to say, "Can you promote this? Can you not give these to Sookie because I don't have them ready yet?" Like I thought it was going to be
Mm,
about the box because the box never gets
right.
opened on screen again. We're like, this is a plot point that just we don't get any closure on. Like, what's in the box? Um, no, the thing he wanted to ask her was, "Would you like to have dinner with me?" What?
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. I just don't know what this episode is doing.
This is a really weird episode. I
Like, we
did
keep having to say, like, "I guess this happened?"
yeah.
Okay.
I did not love this episode, I'll be honest. I know we get to that
Mhm.
at the end, but, like, this made no sense to me. Um,
You know what's weird? This episode, in my memory, because all these episodes, like, start mushing in, so the fact that I'm going one episode at a time it really changes everything because I always remember this episode as very significant because of the husband to kill line and because of the explosions at the end. I never realized that in between that, there's not really that much
Yeah.
going on.
There's not a it gets interesting in the last 10 minutes, but it's not a
And,
lot.
like, significantly, uh, um, big, like but, yeah, it was as if they're just like, "Let's just do a 10-minute episode and then put a mouse at the end." I don't
Yeah.
the mouse thing didn't
The
come
mouse
back.
thing didn't make sense, and it didn't come back, and it was not a plot point.
There
It
wasn't, like,
was
an exterminator scene. I
it
don't
and, like, isn't Kirk also an exterminator, or does he just do termites?
that is a good question.
And also, I have another question. What was Jackson's cousin's name again?
Rune?
Rune. Where's Rune? Does he still live in the shed?
We haven't seen him.
I totally forgot about him, but he could be living in the shed right now.
Hmm,
Hmm. Um, yeah, so Kirk asks her out. It's so
yeah.
weird. It's like an alien from another planet landed and was
Yes.
like, "I like you." And she was like, okay." And he was like, "Don't answer yet. I know you're sick." So weird.
I mean, and this has always stuck in my head also, he said something like, "You might be the prettiest girl I've ever seen outside of, adult
Adult films.
movies." Yeah.
Yeah,
And for some reason, it lands nice. Oh, he says here's the quote, "By the way, I think you might be the prettiest girl I've ever seen outside a really filthy magazine."
nice.
First of all, how much do you remember that it was very normal to call adult women girls?
Oh, yeah.
That just changed.
I mean, people still do it. "How can I get a girl?" I'm like, "You're speaking about adult women."
Yes, I do think that we meant female, not girl. But because there was no, boy on the other side of that, I can't really use that as a defense.
Ugh, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so the prettiest girl I've ever seen, which was a very, very sweet compliment.
Yep. It was very sweet, and she said, "Oh, thank you." And then, uh, doesn't run to Sookie to tell her, like,
No, but is asleep by 10:30, so maybe she was just tired.
yeah,
I don't
maybe.
know.
Um,
Because this turns out to be a big story that she's sharing with Rory. Like,
yeah,
it's
I know. I
this
don't
is the
know that I
thing
would
that was
tell Rory. I mean,
recurring.
I know Rory's her quote unquote best friend, but like, damn.
But
Um,
this is the instead of like any other thing that they were talking about, even the murder doesn't come back. But this ask out by Kirk is a very major plot point of this
yeah,
episode.
yeah. So weird. So weird. The mouse
As
doesn't
if
come back. The sick
yeah, as
doesn't come back. The murder by Shauna Christie. I write down everybody's name because I don't know if it's going to be a character. We're
right.
gonna meet Shauna Christie next episode, and she's gonna be like, "Wasn't it weird when I killed my husband?" And we'll be
It's
like,
a prison scene. Sure.
"Yeah."
Yeah.
We
You
break
don't
her out
know.
of prison. She tells us why she did it. We're on her side. I don't know, but
Oh my
yeah,
god,
we
even this show, Gilmore Girls, because I'm like, "Oh, Gilmore Girls in prison." I'm like and it made me realize even this show is called Girls, not Women.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. People still call women girls as just like a female human.
Yeah.
It still happens for sure.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
was thinking in a bubble, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You don't spend enough
Did
time on Reddit. That's your problem. Get
Number
yourself on
1,
Reddit
get
real
on
quick.
more than what I do, it's enough.
Ugh.
I'm all over the Gilmore stuff on Reddit.
On Reddit? That's
Mhm.
great. Okay, so then we cut to Rory waking up. Why are we looking at Rory waking up? Because Lorelai has been awake and dressed with shoes and makeup, full shoes and makeup in her own house, waiting for Rory to wake up because it's her last first day of high school. Because she's
I mean,
starting.
she's gonna go to work, so she's
Yeah,
ready.
I know.
It's
But
just it is a
I find it
lot,
so weird. Um,
especially when she usually needs 5,000 alarms.
right, right. Um, Then they do one of the weirdest things I've ever seen, which is eat cereal out of the same bowl.
Were you grossed out by the same bowl thing?
Yeah,
Why?
because it's milk.
Well, can you eat ice cream from the same bowl? Oh, a face.
Maybe.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, I could do ice cream if we both have spoons. I don't want to
Wait,
do.
so you don't like to go with boyfriend, for example, and share an ice cream, spoons and all? No?
Yeah, if it's spoons,
Okay.
I can share it. But if it's soft serve, I'm not licking. I mean,
Oh.
unless I get the first bite,
Oh, no
because it's
sharing of the
milky. I don't like dairy. It's gross.
mm. You don't like
Cereal,
okay.
I don't
'Cause the
know.
cereal, the slurp comes back type thing?
Ugh.
Okay, 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 I could see it, I could see it. But once it gets so Rory gets the bowl ready, takes a bite, and then has to
Leaves.
go yeah.
Yeah, she takes one bite, and then she's like, "I'm out of here."
And also, do they have Pop-Tarts and cereal with marshmallows at home and then go to Luke's for breakfast?
Yes,
Or is it vice
I
versa and
know.
that's dessert?
It's
Because
so
Luke, like, literally expects them every morning.
right,
He said, "You've been having soup for breakfast for 3 days straight."
right. So they eat breakfast. They make coffee. They have cereal out of the same bowl at breakfast, and then they go to Luke's and eat a full meal and have
Mhm.
lots of plot development, and then she goes to school. That's a day in the life.
And today, add an hour and a half extra for Lorelai staring at Rory.
Good
So she
lord.
had an hour and a half more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
She gets the bill. I don't find that funny.
I don't find that funny too because she didn't ask
Okay.
to be born. She didn't agree to this contract merely by being born. I don't like that joke when parents are like, "You owe me money because I raised you."
Yeah.
Be like,
Yeah.
"I didn't agree to that, and I didn't have a choice in that matter." And I don't like the cliche, "I didn't ask to be born," but your children owe you nothing. This was an arrangement you made without their consent. So,
You
like,
know what? I think we're both triggered because I think that was a very big common thing for parents to say and for us to feel like we owe our parents our life. That's what I think this triggered.
yeah,
It's so like,
I don't believe that. Sorry.
well, no, I mean, to the point where my parents really believed, and this is an old school way of thinking, that they owned my life. They should be able to tell me what to do with it
Right.
because I owe them.
Yeah.
Because that's my part and this is their
No,
and that's
you did not sign on a dotted line to be born.
but this might be the first generation, like, after us,
Right.
that where parents are like, "And what would you like to do?"
Right. Right. Right.
And,
But
like,
then they've
wait for
taken
an
it too
answer
far and they
and
ask like a 4-year-old what the 4-year-old
yeah,
wants for dinner. And
right,
the
right.
4-year-old is like, rusty nails. And they're like, okay. And you're like, no, you have to have like could we middle ground, please? You know?
Yeah. It always has to swing a little
It has
first,
to,
I
I know the
think.
pendulum has to
Yeah.
swing. And again, like you and I don't have kids, so it's very
Yeah.
easy for us to say what the right thing to do is. But I really don't like the motif of like, you owe me because I raised you. Be like, "Ah."
Yes. I think we're allowed to not like that because that was our experience. Like, it was from the top,
Oh, I never got
directed
told
at
I owed them
us.
anything. They knew.
Well, I owed them my life. Were
Yeah, but
you
my parents
yeah.
knew that I didn't value my life, so I owe them nothing. I'd be like, "Take my life back then, I don't care. You made a mistake. Sorry. Oops." Moving on to teenage angst, we get to, um, the
Uh,
Chilton swearing in, and we hear speeches from, let's see, Rory gives a speech first,
yeah.
and then Paris gives a speech,
Mhm.
and
And it's all boring to both Lorelai and Emily,
it's so
and
boring.
these 2 women should, ah, I love when they're in scenes together. The way that they are bored is beyond what we normally get where people are just hiding a yawn. Emily is trying not to blink. She's so bored.
Mhm.
I think because she's afraid to blink and her eyes will just stay shut and fall
Yes,
asleep.
yes, I've done that too.
And she is just squirming without moving. It is
Uh,
a flawless
yeah, because
execution.
school is really boring.
Apparently,
It's so
everything that the kids do, they make boring
it's so
in
boring.
this.
Chilton is so boring. So
In
they
fact, the only time that a parent or guardian took anything seriously, he was, like, basically booted out. When Richard took the school project seriously,
yeah,
it was embarrassing.
yeah.
I think you're just supposed to be bored and move along.
Yes, you're just supposed to muscle through it, white
Yeah.
knuckle through it. It's just boring. I whenever there's an honoring Rory situation, I'm always afraid Chris is going to show up. So I thought for half
Mm,
a second that Chris might show up to this.
I could see
Um
that.
because
Yeah.
there was there is and was Chris tension, but he does not show up to this.
Mm.
Um but Lorelai gets asked out a second time, this time by her mother.
Oh, yeah. What did you think of Lorelai's initial response to it? I don't know if you remember.
She's like, "I'd like to go out to lunch, just the two of us. I can do tomorrow."
Yeah, and
And
Lorelai was hesitant.
yeah, she was confused.
Yeah.
She's like, "We
Did that
just
make sense to you?
yeah." I
Okay.
mean, based on that scenario, that would confuse me. Be like, "What's the occasion?" And, like,
Yeah.
based on what we know of Emily, we know there's something up her sleeve too.
Now, it's just imagine your child, you go, "Hey, wanna have lunch tomorrow? Can you make it?" And you're um, like, nervous. Like,
Yeah,
what something "Oh god, this is bad news. This is bad news. I'm being softened for a blow or something." Like, why would now, this is someone these people love each other, and they're nervous about having lunch with each other. Oh boy, I'm hoping we came a long way from that as well.
yeah. I had
You
lunch
and
with my
your
mom all
mom
the
did.
time. I loved having
Yeah,
lunch with my mom.
I
Just
know.
it was fun.
I think
And she would always pay. Like, if I was broke, I'd ask mom to lunch, and we knew the deal. She's like
and I think a lot of people are sort of I don't like the word blessed, but, like, are blessed with that kind of relationship with their mother where they're not, they don't feel obliged to have lunch, and that is one of the most amazing things I imagine you can feel as, like, because that is genuine family because you actually enjoy and aren't just obligated. There's both. There's an obligation there, but,
right.
like, the fact that that's not the main theme of getting together is
Yeah, it was just fun to hang out.
yeah,
Yeah,
good on you guys. Good on your mom
yeah,
because it's her driving that.
I know.
Yeah.
One time she picked the restaurant, and it was a little out of both of our ways, and I thought that was a little weird, and it turned out it was because she wanted to go to the Mac store. So it was right next door.
That's
I
nice.
know. It was
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah.
But she was like, "After this, we can go to Mac," because like, I know computers because I'm young.
Oh, the Apple Store.
Yeah.
I thought Mac the makeup
Oh, no,
thing.
sorry, the
I
Apple store. You're right. I
Oh.
meant Apple store.
Oh, because you know computers.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I
that's
speak computer,
sweet.
so she needed me, yeah.
That's really sweet.
Um, but yeah, then we cut back to Chilton. This whole scene is so boring. Oh my god, this whole plot line. What are we talking about? Who cares? Blech. It
Yeah,
it's just we're
just
driving it home again that Paris is a lot and she's self-centered and we get it. Jesus, it's been 2 seasons of this.
yeah, and she did this mostly references and not as much, like, substance aside from that, although I'm so impressed with the references. There were so many, I was like, "I'm not looking all of this up. I'm just gonna have to continue to not fully understand
Yeah, I meant
because I'm
to
not gonna
in our break
it's."
between watch and record, I meant to look up who Helmut Newton is, the photographer that we find out
Oh,
about.
I did look that guy up.
We find out about
because
him
that
later,
was
but I was like, I should know who that is, and I don't.
he's a photographer. It basically wait, when we get to that, I
When
have
we
it
get to that,
there.
okay.
Yes,
So,
because
yeah, it's the get to know you meeting. Paris didn't use it to get to know anyone. She just used it to monologue about what she wanted to do. What did I write down? Paris takes charge. It's like, it's not that interesting to me.
yeah, she basically walked around her peers, her other student body, and she walked around having a TED Talk for an hour when it was supposed to be coffee and donuts. And by the way, was everyone drinking coffee and I just wasn't aware in high school?
Yes.
Really this much so that like you bring coffee and donuts and that's normal?
I wouldn't bring a plate of coffee. I mean, no, I wasn't bringing coffee for everybody.
But no, but maybe there's a budget for it or something, whatever, however they justify, and they're rich, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
The coffee and donuts was a thing to people in high school.
Yes. Most of my friends drank coffee in high school. We
Oh,
got it at the little cart.
I was doing tea
Well, then
all day.
that's also weird.
Is it? Oh, is my immigration coming out? Because it was tea and milk. My mother drinks tea all day.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I mean, I
Yes.
don't maybe, I don't know. I
No.
had some friends who were immigrants and they seemed to get on the coffee train.
Probably a different location because most places really love coffee. Think the Middle East love coffee also, but their tea game
Yeah,
is a
the
lot.
tea game is
Oh,
strong.
Asia in
No,
general
right. Most of
loves
the
the
world
tea.
drinks tea. The coffee drinking world is smaller than the tea drinking world.
I guess America with the South America and
Yeah,
all of
but like
that. That's
all of
very
Asia is tea people.
yes, and I'm part of that.
You ever try to get drip coffee in Tokyo? They don't know what you're talking about.
I never went to Tokyo, but in Vietnam, they are loving the coffee.
Mm,
Loving. It's like pizza in New York. There's another one down the block, and
nice.
they're all doing fine.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's got low overhead opening a coffee shop.
Hmm. Well, they're
All
doing
right,
it.
moving
Okay.
on.
Now that we went to Asia,
Yeah,
welcome back.
because this meeting is so boring that we're stalling on talking about it. All right, we get it.
Even
Paris is
even the inn, we go to the inn for no reason as well.
oh,
Just about a vegetarian. I do like the line. I thought you weren't allowing vegetarians into the inn anymore.
right.
Okay. Haha, a chef, whatever. You're making pasta, that's boring. I'm like, but that doesn't come back. We don't see
We don't
the
see her making
vegetarians.
pasta. We don't see somebody take a eat a bite of something and then give up vegetarianism. I don't
Right, right. Just
this
not
episode was written by like 15 different people who didn't consult each other.
oh, then that's fun. Because yes, if everybody just had a
One
little
scene,
yes,
everyone
and
just wrote a sketch.
for what and it has to be 1 minute. So, and here are your characters. This girl is relentless.
Right.
This one is goofy.
And
This one's a little autistic. Go.
Sookie hates vegetarians. We got it. Okay.
Ah, because
Um
then we have um so the bathroom.
The bathroom scene is so weird, and, like, I wrote it down, and I know we've met this chick before in the the Puffs
Yes.
episode, and I wrote down that we always make redheads the villains in shows, which I don't like.
Mm,
That was the
right.
messaging I was getting as a child, that redheads are evil, and Frenchie is her name Frenchie? Francie.
Fancy, yeah. And
Francie,
that curly-haired people are wild.
and curly-haired people are crazy, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, redheads are evil, and curly-haired people are crazy, and if you have curly red hair, forget it.
Oh, yeah, and this girl,
This girl has
mm,
a monologue too, and this actress memorized, 4 pages of dialogue about how, oh God, I zoned out. She's like, the hemline thing is super important. I wrote, what did I write?
it's
Hemlines
true.
issue. Like,
I know, I was like as I was writing, I was like, "Do I add that?" I'm like, "No, because I have to pay attention even harder to this." And I'm paying attention hard enough to go, "Does this matter?"
yeah, does
And
it
no, the
matter?
most I got is, Paris seems to think she's in charge, then a lot of references. Bathing, it's like bathing suit, finding a bathing suit in December, which is really annoying. That why can't I find a bathing suit in December, especially amongst rich people who go away somewhere warm in December? But whatever, it's frustrating, fruitless, and a complete waste of time. There was she called Rory Meyer Lansky. That's a mob guy.
Okay.
Um and she says something like, if Paris thinks she could blah blah blah, she's in for a major bikini wax. What does that even mean?
In for pain. I think
Oh. Oh. Wow. That's gotta be it. But the last
a
time I
pain in
felt pain getting waxed,
a pain in your
ha,
crotch.
you're not allowed to feel pain
No, you
when
don't
you're
feel
getting
pain.
bikini waxed.
You know what? Women listening or watching, you don't have to wax at all. You could just opt out. And, like, everything's fine. Life just seems to go on if you stop waxing your private parts. What are we doing? It's so weird.
Well, I mean, hey, we all pick and choose our line of making ourselves pretty for the outside world. And I can't put mousse in my hair and go, why do you need to shave your legs?
I didn't
You
say, why do
know?
you need to shave your legs? I'm giving people permission to opt out.
Yeah,
You don't
but
need permission to opt out. I mean, you don't need my permission to opt out, but I'm saying if you are looking for someone to say you don't have to do that anymore, I am that person. You do not have to wax your private parts anymore. You just don't have to. If you want to,
you don't have to do your hair. You don't have to wear certain clothes. You don't have to wear
exactly.
certain shoes.
You can put
Yeah,
mousse on, you can just put mousse on your private parts hair.
but we all know why we do it.
I
We just
know.
do it to a different degree.
I know. But it didn't
Yeah.
occur to me I didn't have to until, the pain part of it is what bothers me. It didn't
Mm,
like, you're like, oh, well, we have to endure pain. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do anything painful that I can avoid.
yeah.
And this is like, I don't want to get a root canal and I don't want to get a bikini wax. Like, those are two things in the same category for me. And one of them I can choose.
The waxing thing's a tough one. I don't
Ugh.
My first removal of hair was waxing, and, I don't think I might have told you this, but I don't remember being explained what's about to happen. And maybe I was, but I don't remember because as it was happening, my mother was there, I went to her waxing lady, and I was like, "What is happening to me?" I was speechless. I couldn't say anything. My mother was like, say thank like, be a person, and I was just silent. I was in so much shock that
Oh,
that is what that feels like. That's what that is. That's what we're
no.
doing. I
Yeah,
had no idea.
that's awful.
Shocked, shocked.
That's
And
terrible that nobody explained it to you beforehand.
and I wonder if they did again. I'm not like if I'm misremembering, but maybe I just didn't like settle in or I wasn't listening. Like it could have been me not listening, but I don't know that I could have believed that that was gonna happen, maybe even if they described it to me, because you would think that you would remember that, "Hey, we're about to pull hair from your skin a bunch at a time."
Wow.
Another thing is like my mother knew how to do the threading
Yeah,
thing. And I was like, "Oh, so this is the only way we could do this thing." Oh my god, that hurts
yeah,
so much.
yeah.
So does it have to hurt? I thought it did also. My mother said that shaving would be, like, really bad for you and all of this stuff, and I'm like, "Well, now." And waxing sucks because every 2 weeks you have super hairy legs, and then for, like, 3 days, you're, like, at your best, you know,
Yeah.
and then you start all over and you're like, "Well, I do I get to wear shorts all summer or just like I don't
No, for
know."
3 days every 2 weeks, you can wear shorts.
Right, and go to
Silly.
the beach
Yeah.
and yeah, oh my god.
Yeah, I try to minimize pain if possible.
Yeah, well, now there's like, "Hey, numb your skin and, burn it off." What's that called? Uh,
Lasers?
Laser, yes.
Like
I mean,
magic?
what are we doing?
Lasers?
Yes.
Yeah. Um, Or you could just opt out.
Sure, but
You could just have like, you know, there's a
yeah,
woman I saw
but
on
let's
Instagram
be
who,
fair. If you're opting out of removing your hair, you're opting out of other things as well, and you're opting into a different. It's like our our culture of what we think female is or what we think looking good is kind of dictates what our social engagements end up
wait, so
being
wait,
and
what
who
can't you do if you have hairy legs?
what can't you do? Oh, be attractive to people and not be stared at and in certain areas.
Whoa.
Really?
You just said if you have hairy legs, you can't be attractive.
To certain
Yeah,
people.
but you can't be attractive to certain people no matter what you do.
Right, but if you are attractive to those people, you are removing your
And that
hair.
if that's the deal breaker for someone, then that's not a person that
Right,
whose opinion matters to me.
but usually who people remove their hair are attractive to other people who remove their hair.
Right.
We're all grooming in the same
I'm
amount,
not
let's
opposed to
be fair.
grooming, but like I mean, I don't know. Maybe you know what? Maybe Instagram is feeding me more like "Don't bother shaving your legs" content. There's a woman who shapes her leg hair into patterns,
Mhm.
and
Yeah, I have
like
no problem
she's
with leg
super
hair.
hot, and she's like shaping her leg hair, using the spoolie that your eyelash, the eyelash thing.
Yeah, I think just like we're not finished calling people girls, some people are not finished being actually grossed out by females having hair below their eyelashes.
Yeah, I'm too old. Maybe I outgrew it. I don't care anymore.
No, I don't care either, but like I still know it exists.
Oh yeah, I'm just.
Yeah.
I don't think people should be in pain if they don't have to be. Speaking of pain,
Well, that was a lot.
I know. Can we edit
I
that whole
think
thing out? That
nope.
was all of our listeners are now shaving their legs right now. Male or female, cats, dogs, everyone shave your
Well,
legs
I mean, if you're gonna
immediately.
have a swim
Burn it
race,
off.
it's
Do it in the
worth
most
that.
painful way possible. I like to have my
uh,
leg hair gnawed off by squirrels.
Look, if you love this, which thank you so much for listening. There's more. There's more on our Patreon. There are options. Um, things like the stuff that we record before and after the episode. And other go to Patreon under Gilmore Friends, or if you want more information, gilmorefriends.com is the place to go. And we appreciate all our Gilmore Friends Patreon members. Thank you for being there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We finally come back and we're at Luke's. And this is the lunch with Emily scene. It's a disaster.
It
Um,
is
Emily
so much
says
Emily.
Emily says that she's been talking to Chris, or she at least talked to him once, and that he doesn't love Sherry. And like, if only, oh man, I'm with Lorelai on this so much. Why did you call him? What are you doing? You have to stay out of my life.
If this man cannot get me to be his partner, my mommy's gonna get him to.
Yeah.
Like, he needs so much help
Yeah.
that grandma has to come and
Yeah. This was so, so embarrassing for Lorelai. Like, I would
it's
be mortified if I were her that my mommy had to call my ex and be like, why don't you like my daughter? Ugh. Terrible.
but she didn't like mortified. Emily should be mortified because
Yes.
you know who like Chris, I mean, I think he's in a tough position to be like, look, it's none of your business, but you don't engage fully with that. Like, I can't really hang up on the woman, but
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. It's very weird. I don't
I
like it.
think he's feeding that fire. I think he very much enjoys that mommy called. Oh, good. I get another mommy.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's paying attention to me. But
He's being babied. Like, and when Lorelai can't baby him anymore, Emily picks up the baby slack. What? Are
mhm.
we all trying to raise Chris?
Yeah. We all have to raise Chris. All
Oh,
of us together can make this man be a human adult. So
Yeah.
embarrassing, all of them.
I certainly wasn't going to sit by and watch this situation explode. Wow, that's a perspective. I wasn't gonna sit by and let you live your life. I
Yeah,
wasn't gonna sit by and let Chris be Chris
right,
for another day.
right. I was gonna force Chris to do something that I think he should want to already do and can't do on his own
Right, clearly.
because
And
he's like a man-child.
and then when we get into it at home, we'll make sure that we call you so you can help us with every argument we have because he's not gonna understand because he needs another baby help. Bye,
Yeah.
get uppies. Um, wow. And then she says, this woman is trying to trap him. Now, that was big. That was big.
Do we believe her? Do we think Sherry's trying to trap him?
No.
I don't think so. So
No, no, no,
I
no.
dismissed that. I was like, "Ugh, she doesn't know what she's talking about."
No, but I think that was a fear of women that age, that their boy is going to be trapped by
Oh,
a woman. That
okay.
was it was a thing. You know how like girls get like, hey, go out there, try not to be raped. They go out there, try not to be trapped. Make sure you have the condom. It's not hers because
Oh,
they
that
poke
she's gonna baby trap
holes.
you?
Yeah,
Yeah. Eh,
yeah. I mean, it doesn't. It's not like it never happened, but this was like it's just what is done to like their boy, the good guy.
right, well,
People,
because their
he's
precious
so
boy has the
good.
best
Yeah.
possible genetic material. Men
Yes.
flatter themselves a lot with, like, "Women just wanna get knocked up." Not by you. No,
But those are the women who help. Of course, everyone's trying to trap Chris because he makes for the best. What?
because Chris has a Volvo. So that's how you know he's a quality man. God, Volvo loves this show so much. Although we noticed that
Uh,
later he does not show up in the Volvo, he's back in his
that's
bike
right.
later. Yep.
Yes, because he's angry, Chris. I'm
Yeah,
angry,
because he's
Chris.
bad boy Chris. He came over without asking. I
I
believed
don't want to
Emily.
be responsible anymore.
Yeah, we get back to Chilton. The Hemlines issue. Compare. Does Paris even have the authority to push this through?
I have no idea. When she said I'm gonna push it through, I was like, to where and from who?
And
What?
like, does the administration have any say in this? Why don't you just say everyone has to wear Mickey Mouse costumes to school?
Also, where's the adult in the corner?
I
Doesn't there
don't I
usually
don't
have to
understand
be?
this like student body that you can push this kind of thing through. That doesn't make any sense. Again, this is boring to me. Are
Also,
we
it doesn't make sense for one more reason, because if they could just push a hemline, any one of the last presidents, other than Paris, would be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hemlines more than 3/4 of an inch above your knee? Yes. What are we,
right,
nuns?
exactly. And if the student body can push anything they want through, they'd just be like, I don't know. An adult has to sign off on this is my point. And Paris
Yeah.
doesn't make it sound like that's a reality. Like somewhere along the line, an adult is gonna check mark.
Yes. And what is Paris? And I looked this up. She says, I'm building a legacy. And she doesn't want to push the hemlines first because it would be her quote, gaze in the military. Um, so when I looked up, everyone's like, people seem to think it's the don't ask, don't tell
Yeah,
thing.
this is the don't ask, don't tell because it didn't work
But how is it the don't ask, don't
because
tell
it was a
of
failed policy.
that's why?
I think so. That's what
And
I
how would this be a failed policy? I mean, it was a stupid policy. Is it
right.
because it's a stupid
Maybe because
policy?
it's a stupid policy that won't work.
Don't ask, don't tell.
So
I'm
stupid.
like, somebody goes like, and it sounds cute too. What? You know,
Yeah.
don't ask, don't tell. That's like a t-shirt. They're gonna love this.
Right.
Anyway,
Um, we find out that Kirk doesn't know how to leave a voicemail on an answering machine. We find out that Kirk lives with his mom, which I think we knew, but his mom
yeah.
picks up the other line, which was the thing that used to happen on the old landlines. You would be on one phone in your house, and another phone in the house was the same line. So you could be on the phone with your friend, and your mom would pick up and go, "Carrie, you on the phone?" And you'd go, "Yeah, Mom, get off the phone." And she'd go, "I need to call someone." And you'd go, "Mom, 5 minutes." And she'd go, "No, now." And you'd be like, "All right, I'll call you back." That was what landlines used to be.
And I would be like, "Oh my god, why can't they just leave me alone to the phone?" And now when I think about it, if I was my parents, I'd be like, "She's not even talking about anything. We need the phone for actual, like, paying bills," and, like, there's so much was happening through the phone, and I'm just like, "Oh my god, mom.
Yeah.
I have to tell her what happened today."
You know, my mom got so fed up with me hogging the phone. You know what she did?
She got you second line.
That's right. I
That's
told you this
nice.
before. I was
That's
one of the
nice.
second phone line people. I couldn't believe it. And it happened because her boyfriend got sick of it, not because she did. She was just going to discipline me and tell me to shut up. And her boyfriend at the time was like, "Why don't you just get her a second line?" And like, I did not like that guy. I did not like that relationship, but that was the best thing that ever happened to my social life. That guy was a douche. They broke up, but I still had that second line, man, my own private phone line.
Do you think your mom knew that you didn't like this guy?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Do you think that she knew why and it made sense?
Maybe.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, he was a jerk.
Yeah, I just feel like a lot of things make sense even though it was so like why would why would she date him? And it's like, yeah, we know why she would date him and also she stopped.
Yeah, they eventually
Yeah.
broke up. He
It
had
makes
good
so much
qualities. I mean,
sense.
he
Yeah.
had really
Yeah.
great qualities too, but I didn't care for him that much. He
Hmm.
wasn't that bad. Doesn't matter. But like the point is, that was the best thing I got out of that relationship. Selfishly, was I got my own phone line because that guy couldn't
Yeah.
have it.
That worked out so nice
Yeah, because we
because
had call waiting, and he would call, and I'd be on the phone with my phone. I'd be on the phone with my friend, and he'd call, and I'd be like, "Well, tell her to call you back." And he got so annoyed with that. So, nope, get the
I
kid.
fully understand why parents would be annoyed. Even now, like I think kids are getting a phone younger and younger because parents don't want to share, although I guess they're tablet kids. Oh my god, there's so many devices. Don't let me get into that. All right.
So many devices. Anyway, so we find out that Kirk has never seen a phone before and can't leave a message, and that he lives with his mom. Again, this is such a weird diversion, like,
Mhm.
so weird.
Not for nothing. I know we're trying not to spoil you, but in no world is Lorelai going to date Kirk. So it's not even I don't even think it's a spoiler to say that goes nowhere.
Right.
You know, you're not gonna be like, "No, well, she might change her mind," and then it'll be like a love triangle between him
Are
and
they
Luke.
drunk and trauma bonded, and
It's not
they
happening.
kiss? You know, like, they're lost in the woods together and drunk, and they think they're gonna die? I don't know. I cannot
I
envision a scenario.
Right. So even that is just like a one-off, like someone else's scene.
It's
I
just, like,
don't
way to make someone else look bad. I don't know.
even
Um,
the new maid for Emily,
yes.
that's like somebody gave, the premise of, "And this woman always fires her maids." So this person wrote that, "Oh, then her maid is gonna be extra,
Right,
um"
extra dumb or ditzy or whatever,
Yeah,
and then yeah, so this was one of the 15 writers got this scene
yeah.
and was like, make Sarah, the new maid, get yelled at and not understand how bells work,
Big
and
Bell.
Big Bell, like, make her, like, brain injured, you know? And
Yeah.
then we have to explain that Emily can't fire her because Richard chastised her for having too many maids. What are we doing? What is this episode? Makes no sense. Nothing happens until can we just get to the frickin' Jess scene?
And okay, no, because it's the
Chris
Christopher
scene first.
scene,
Chris comes first, right, okay.
which is such a good scene.
Okay, this is such a good scene, you're right. Chris shows up,
Yes.
Emily says, "I did not do this, I didn't," and I believe her. Like, the
Yes.
actress and the mom are
Yes.
believable that she was like, "I didn't do this, it's not me," and
Mhm.
Chris is like,
Because
"What?"
I think she would be happy to let you know, like, "Well, here he is. You weren't gonna do it yourself." She would be happy to take that credit.
Right.
But
and
no.
they fight, and Chris is being a child and is just saying, "I wanna talk to you, I wanna talk to you," because he can't handle having someone be mad at him, which
Mhm.
is very common,
And
right?
he
And you're
says
like she's like, "The situation has not changed from what it was whenever, at Sookie's wedding. The situation is the same. You are with someone else, and you're gonna have to accept that I am mad or, like, I don't like it." And when she said, "Being in the same room with you hurts me. Standing right here next to you hurts me." I really felt that. I have
yeah.
felt that. I have been there. That is so true.
And
And I loved how honest it was. It was really I don't know, I found that very powerful.
yeah. She's such a good actress.
Yeah, it was
Bec
heartbreaking.
and the dialogue, it's like whoever wrote this scene, one of the 52 writers, they won the bag. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
This
this scene
is
wins the scene of the episode, except for
yeah.
the next one.
Well,
So
because a lot of what he's saying is, "You shut me out," and then there's also he's accusing Lorelai of getting Rory in on this shutout,
right. And
and this is the
meanwhile,
first time.
it just means that Rory's eyes are being opened to what a schmoop he is. She didn't see it when he lived on the other coast because he was just phone dad. And now that he's in person dad, she can see that he's really not a reliable person and not such a great person. And she's old enough to see it and she's old enough to decide not to have to speak to him, especially when he only shows up when it's convenient for him. So Rory is making her own decisions about like, I don't need to be in touch with him, you
Yeah,
know?
and also Lorelai was very specific because he's like, "I called you 45 times," and she goes, "Okay, to say what?" And he goes, I don't know." And at
To
that point, I was like, "Wow, he's a good actor too,"
Yeah,
because
I don't know. And then he's like, "To talk." And she's like, "So talk." Finally, what this scene I think nailed was, and I know you might not have seen it, but Emily defends her. Emily goes, "Chris, I think you better leave." The
oh,
whole
yeah.
time Lorelai is like, "Leave, leave, get out of here," and he won't do it. And finally, Emily puts on her big girl pants and her stern voice, and she's like, "Christopher, I think you better leave." I just loved it.
Oh, I loved Emily in
Okay, good.
that.
Good.
I loved it.
'Cause
I couldn't
Emily can push
wait
her
for you
buttons,
to
but when push comes to shove, she's gonna defend her cubs.
well, I think it made sense also to her. It was both things. Hearing your daughter say it hurt so much, like we were affected by it, and she was like, "Okay, that's it. You can't keep torturing my daughter." So, yeah, she was in there.
Yeah,
And did you see her face? Lorelai turns to her, she knows she was just defended, and she felt like she had armor on now, like it felt
yeah,
warm,
yeah,
and she said, "You know, you need a mask and a horse when you do that." Emily was like, like she almost smiled in like a tee way,
right, right.
but then she smelled something burning, so
Yes.
she had
Something
to,
broke her concentration, but she was proud of
yeah,
herself for, like, standing up to the irritant,
yeah.
that's making her daughter's life harder. Yeah, good for her.
But
I like that.
still, Lorelai went outside, got soft,
Mhm.
and said, "Chris, give it time,"
Give it time.
as if he deserves any of
Why
that,
did you go outside? Why did you follow him outside and say, "Give it time"?
because it goes back to, are we trained to make sure everything is okay
Yeah,
with everyone?
yeah.
No one's
She doesn't
too
want him mad,
offended. Yeah.
like, it's just ugh.
I like to make sure, like, I love you, I just need time. No, no, no. He doesn't even get that grace anymore. We loved you with time for too long now.
Right,
It's just shut up.
right, go be someone else you wrote it down, go be someone else's dad.
That was a lot though.
Yeah,
But yeah.
yeah,
But finally, this
but
girl
finally,
is
I wrote down Rory sees him now.
yeah.
Yeah, um,
And that's heartbreaking, but yes.
yeah,
But even in the next scene, it starts with once again Lorelai going, taking it back. You know he didn't mean to, and I so enjoyed Rory cutting her off and saying he never does. And that's one of the big things, like, you don't mean to, but, like, if you keep doing it over again, oh, then what do you mean?
Right. Yeah. He didn't mean to hit you in the head with a hammer again and again and again. You're like, all
Yeah.
right, at a certain point, it doesn't feel unintentional.
But, like, what did he mean to do
Right.
then? I don't
Right.
do that then.
I thought the Kirk rejection scene was painful, but I think they both did really well. I think she said, no, thank you. She did make it take too long. Like I just got out. I've used this too. I've just got out of a relationship as a wait, but then that's not nice because you're making them wait. You let them
That's the thing, that would
that
concern me that the other person would be like, "Oh, so you just need time to
so you just need more
heal."
time. You're not saying no, you're saying not now.
Yeah, because to me, clarity would be like, "Hey, I really like being your friend, and I'd like to remain that way." Because
And
this would
nothing more. I think you have to be more explicit and be like,
mm,
because as we talked about last episode, people hear what they want to hear. So if you
mm,
say, I really just like being friends, they might hear for now because you
right.
didn't say no. You said
Oh, you
you
have to
just
be
said what you
further
did like.
clear.
So you have to be really explicit and be like, it's not gonna happen. It's never gonna happen.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. It's hard to do
Yeah,
and it's hard to hear.
that's
But Kirk, to his credit, takes it really well. He's like, let me know
mhm.
if you change your mind. And then doesn't say, well, I didn't like you anyway, you stupid bitch, which a lot of rejected guys can switch to really quickly.
No, but he's a different kind of guy. He's the kind of guy that says, "Well, I could have my mother call you," or "Was the tuna inquiry too personal?"
Right.
So he's not.
No, but he doesn't get angry with rejection, which I know the bar is low for men for behavior, but when you reject a man and he goes, okay, thanks for telling me, and doesn't get enraged, like I think that's a quality people should look for. And gentlemen, if you're listening, that's a quality you should have. Do not rage out with romantic rejection. It is not a good look.
Are you saying that rage is not okay?
No, rage is fine. Rage directed at another person is not fine. Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I know. Rage should be outlawed. You should never
No.
feel rage,
Oh
and if
my
you
god.
do, you need to go check yourself into a mental institution because rage is not natural. You know what I mean, though. If a guy asks you out and you say no thanks, and he like flips the table.
Yeah, it was scary for a
Yeah, men are
while.
men are
Yeah.
terrifying. Men don't realize how scary they are. Really
Yeah.
scary. One
It
time, a guy
changed
asked
a
me out,
little.
and I said no, and he said okay, and then treated me the same. We had been friends before. He expressed a romantic interest. I rejected him, and then we went back to being friends. I couldn't believe it. It was amazing. I was like, I love adulthood. Adulthood is amazing. Like, you could just do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's
It's
hard, but,
so
like,
rare.
wouldn't it be cool if that's always what happens?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, I guess Kirk is cool. But also, he's a grown man living with his
No, I
mom, and
know.
I
I mean,
think
I
he
don't want to
has
date. I'm
to.
not saying to date him. I'm saying this should be a model for handling rejection, not a model for how to be a man. He's weird. He's weird. Don't be weird. Pick a sexier way to be weird. Be weird with, something else.
Be
All right.
weird the way Carrie's attracted to.
Yeah, be weird the way I like it. And not too much. I have a man. Ooh.
Uh,
All right. So then we're
okay.
back in town. Okay. So then the
Mm,
whole episode, we're waiting for this last like 3 minutes.
mm.
Um, we finally run into Jess, or Rory runs into Jess,
I love this part.
and she's like cold at him. And he's like, what's your beef?
What you got? What's going on?
And she's like, you're with somebody now. And he's like, what do you care? You kissed me, told me not to tell anyone, which is rude. What did he say? It like hurt my feelings or something.
You kiss me, you tell me not to say anything. Very flattering, by the
Very
way.
flattering, yeah.
You go
Very
off to
flattering.
Washington.
She leaves for 6 weeks. She doesn't call, she doesn't write, she doesn't do anything, and he was supposed to sit around and wait for her. I'm with Jess on this. Rory has no reason to be mad at him.
Yep. And then he says, and as far as I know, you're still with Dean.
"Are you
Aren't
with
you still
Dean?"
with
And she
Dean?
kinda looks around or, and he goes, "Are you still with Dean?" And she goes, "Yes, yes, I'm still with Dean."
Like she's pissed at him.
Yeah.
Now, didn't we just watch this scene between her father and her mother?
Yes.
Are you still with Sherry? Then what are we talking about? Are you still with Dean? Then why are you pissed?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Sounds like she picked up something from her dad.
Except that Jess and Rory were never together, and and Chris and Lorelai were together. Like, I don't know, they kept picking up and putting down. They had a history of being together.
But
But
she
yeah,
kissed him. This the similarity is to scale,
I'm not
you
with
know?
you right, exactly. Like, I'm not with you anymore. You don't get to be mad that I'm
Well, no,
with
you're with someone else, so I'm not really sure what you want from me.
right,
You're with someone else and you're mad at me for not treating you like you're my partner.
right,
You're with someone else, but somehow you want me to treat you like what? You go ahead, you answer that, not you.
right. But,
Rory
like
and Chris, like, what do you want? What do you want from me? You're staying with that person, right? You are not available, right?
right,
But you want me to be available to you in any way that
right.
you would like at any time.
Yep,
Same thing.
yep,
I
yep.
take this way too seriously.
But, how does it I wrote Jess has a point,
Yeah, here's all the points.
and we get Shane's name. I'm not sure if Shane is gonna become a main character. Oh, this leads into, predictions.
Wait, by the way, he said her name is Shane.
Yeah,
He started. She didn't even say, "Oh, so what's her name anyway?" She didn't even ask. He just knew you're butthurt about this, and I'm gonna like call it as I see it the entire time. And he memorized a bunch of stuff too, and
yeah,
just let her have it. And I loved it, and I think he was 100% right.
yep.
Oh,
But
oh,
because
and
but
then
also Rory doesn't have experience enough to know why she's really mad.
yeah,
If
but
she
you
if
know
she
well
ex
enough to not be mad at that person. You know well
Yes,
enough.
I
Yeah,
know, but she hasn't examined it. She thought that Jess would wait for her,
right. Like Dean would.
like Dean would. She really did
Mm-hmm.
think that, and
Yeah.
now she's pissed off that he didn't.
Yeah, but then when Lorelai was like, "Are you done?" She goes, "Oh yeah, I'm all done." Meaning with this guy, like, girl, who was the fool here?
Yeah.
He's done with you. You know, well, I didn't like you anyway. Type of
Yes.
vibe.
Yes. Yes, speaking of taking rejection. Yep, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like you anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And yes, um, I do want to tell you a little bit of trivia before we get into the prediction, because there's a lot about Francie. I think you will like this. First of all, in this episode, she's 27 years old.
Whoa.
Yeah. She
That's
was born in 1975.
wow. This was the
Yeah.
era of having, like, 30-year-old people play teenagers. This was that 90210 era where, like
Except they look like 90210, it was like, oh my God, what's happening? They graduated many schools. But this, she looked fresh out of the box.
yeah.
Also, she was the main character in Carrie too.
Oh, I didn't see
Yeah.
Carrie too.
Now her name was Rachel, but she had the Carrie powers,
Oh.
so she played the main thing. And also, she was on 8 episodes of Mrs. Maisel, which is created also by Amy Sherman Palladino. And she was a half sibling on Shameless for 21 episodes. Now, here's what I think. I've watched Mrs. Maisel the whole way at least twice, and Shameless I've watched like, I think at least half of the entire, once, like, the father on Shameless, he was supposed to die at some point. Like, it was too much like, "Oh, that's gonna happen, but don't worry, he'll be fine." He needed to, like, be a little more okay, but that's a different show. Meaning, I saw her in this. I've watched Gilmore Girls so many times, I did not know this was her. So she disappears into her role that
Wow.
well, or I paid that little attention.
Did she have different hair color?
Blonde,
That'll
I
do it.
think, yeah.
If someone changes their hair color, they're, like, unidentifiable to me. Like,
That's funny. I didn't I'm gonna give myself that out. Thank you.
yes, I think that is it. And they make her
Okay.
hair so very red.
True. They make it's like you said, they kinda make it part of her evil personality.
Yeah, because
Like,
redheads are
just
evil.
yeah. And the other thing is actually, I meant to tell you this in the Jackson Sookie wedding because it has to do a little with the love, that they have between each other. So, Jackson, who the actor's real life name is Jackson also, his name is Jackson Douglas, which I always love. Like, could always see I'm never gonna be able to get my name as the character if I ever do acting, but, like, you can just still be called Jackson. Anyway, he was married to another actor in the show that was early on that only had a few scenes. Do you remember Drella the harpist?
Yes, yes, I do. Also from Mrs. Maisel.
That's right. Yes, yes. So there was some repeats, but Alex Bornstein was married in real life to Jackson.
Oh.
And if you remember trivia earlier on, Alex was supposed to play Sookie. So they
Oh.
were supposed to be
Then they
married.
would have been on screen married and not just
Yes.
IRL. That's funny.
Mhm,
That's great.
mhm. Now, the sad news is they got divorced in 2014, but maybe it's not so sad anymore. It's 2026. They might be in a better place. But yeah, she was supposed to play Sookie. I just thought that that was so sweet. Um, and then I like when actors are like, "No, that's not weird. Go make out with someone else and pretend to love them." Like, we're just playing.
No, it's a job. It's a jobby job because you yell cut and then everybody turns around.
And we're all adults here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're very adult. So what do you got for predictions?
Well, I think we're going to see more of Shane because she didn't have a line last episode and then she had a line this episode. I don't think she had more than 10 words.
They
Um,
had their whole conversation apparently was 10 words,
it was 10
so
words total. So
uh,
I think we have to get into Shane. I think Rory d like, but in spite of herself, hates this girl for no reason because that's what teenagers do, or she decides to befriend her, which would be very awkward for, Jess. We did not get back to the Lorelai and, Luke making up situation yet.
no, but they
Um,
seem okay. They were doing that,
they were doing their banter.
roasty flirt.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
mhm.
And then she was like, when he wouldn't stop talking or when he was lecturing her on health, she was like, "Remember when you were mad at me and ignored me? That was nice." And I was like, "Too soon. Too
I
soon.
know,
You guys
right?
just made up. Like, it's fragile now. Let him
But
take
that
care of
was
you."
you're right, but here's another scene where did it matter?
No.
You were like, "Oh, we didn't really talk." We didn't nothing. We got all the
Yeah.
characters and we
Yeah,
learned
her
nothing
sickness.
new.
I mean, was the sickness just so we could see Luke taking care of her? I mean, we could do that in a million ways.
Did anything mean anything in this episode?
Nothing meant
Aside
anything.
from the Jess and Christopher scene, which were just
The last
beautiful,
2 scenes of the episodes moved
lovely.
the plot along. Every other scene before that was weird. This might be my least favorite episode
Oh, even
of
with those, there was another episode where we were like, "Okay, so nothing happened." I
yeah,
think I
I don't
think this
remember.
is the
But this one
second.
was just more baffling, was less entertaining. While nothing was happening, I would like to be entertained, and I didn't.
Mhm.
Like, watching, like, Michelle, like, dig around a fireplace with his butt in the air, I was like, "I'm not really entertained by this." Like, meh.
I'm really asking I never paid attention to how much this episode only counts for those last 2
Yeah.
scenes.
That's what I got. I got 2 scenes.
I think you're right, and when I was looking up information about this episode, it seemed to be what other people thought about the episode as well.
I wonder what happened. I wonder
I
if
hope what happened is what we made up, which is that everyone got a different scene, because then this episode would be so fun. It
Yeah.
would be like an avant-garde sorta night where it's like, "Let's rewrite this except upside down and Shakespeare-like,"
Right.
but not, because Carrie doesn't like Shakespeare and stop shoving it into places.
We just gotta hear. I think that the whole like, say there was a writing staff of, like, 10 writers, I bet there
Yeah.
was, like, some weird orgy and everyone felt awkward about it on Monday, so they all called out sick. So this episode was written by, like, the interns.
You know what? Ratatouille made more sense than that.
Yeah.
Like, that
I
is
bet a rat controlled your body from inside your hat, and Ratatouille made this episode.
maybe that's what happened.
Yeah. Body snatchers. Aliens zapped their bodies into the bodies of the writers and pretended to be writers for 80% of this episode.
They turned this into an improv game, and this is what we got.
Right.
First draft only.
Yeah. They just put verbs and nouns into a hat and then pulled them out. And they were like, chicken noodle soup. And like,
Spaghetti on top.
who asks Lorelai out? I don't know. Oh, it's Kirk this week. Okay. So weird. I don't think we ever revisit the Kirk asking Lorelai thing out again ever. I think that's the end of it, and we never hear about it again ever. Um, I think we have to learn more about Shane. Maybe Lane and Shane get along. Do we know if Shane goes to high school with them?
No, we don't know.
We don't. We don't know
We
where.
don't know where they met. So far, we just learned her name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we still need to learn more about her.
We also learned that Lane
here's
and
what's gonna
Rory
happen.
don't speak over the summer.
Stupid Rory's gonna tell Lorelai, and Lorelai's gonna ask Luke, and Luke's gonna have to do the sleuthing and the gossiping about who Shane is. Ugh, it's gonna be messy.
I'm sorry, what did you said Rory's gonna ask Lorelai to ask Luke?
Yes. To find out how they met, how serious they are, blah, blah,
Okay.
blah. And it's gonna
Okay.
be so annoying. And also Beavers do a kick line next episode.
Were you gonna say bees and you were like, no, too much bee
No.
action? And you said beavers.
I just picked the cutest animal I could think of that wasn't
Aw.
a cat. The second cutest animal.
All right, that's what Carrie thinks.
That's it. Thanks
That's
for
our
watching.
segment. That's what Carrie thinks. Yeah. Thanks. Hit that subscribe button. It helps support the show. Appreciate it. Good night.
Bye.